STEAM in your classroom. I'm sure there are both kinds of teachers here, and a very warm welcome to both the kinds of teachers. And I hope, and I'm pretty sure that at the end of this class, there will be one thing or the other that you will take back to your class that's of value. All right, with that, let me start off. The concept of STEAM reminds me of a story. Okay, and I'm going to narrate to you that story. The story goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a young man who was very good and wanted to do good things in life. But unfortunately, he never got to do anything because nothing was coming his way. And he used to be looking for something to do. Generally, he was not very happy. He was always looking for something else, something better. So, he was a very restless kind of person. This went on for some time until one day his friend looks at him and he says, "My friend, you're not looking happy at all. What is wrong?" He says, I'm not able, I don't know why. I'm not able to get everything together. Sometimes I have money, sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm healthy, but I don't have everything, and that makes me unhappy. So his friend says, "I don't have a solution for you, my friend, but what you can do is you can go and you can pray, because praying always gives you the best results. So why don't you do deep and faithful penance?" So like a true Indian, like all our scriptures say, he goes into the forest and he starts to do penance. He starts to do tapas. And he's such a simple man that he does it with all his heart, with great faith. And then when he's doing it with great faith, after some time, the goddess itself is happy with his sincerity. And so the goddess comes down and appears in front of him. She says, "I'm very happy with you, my man. I hope you know what you want. Why have you called me?" To which he says, I need something. My dear goddess, I need something to keep me happy. So she says, I see. Okay, of you. If you drink from this bowl, you will get immense health. You will always be healthy all through your life. If you drink from the second bowl, you will always be wealthy. There will never be a lack of money. And if you drink from the third bowl, you will get wisdom. There will always be wisdom. Which one do you want? Pick and it is yours, she says. To which this young man says, "Let me have a look." And he smells. And as soon as he smells it, quickly he mixes the three and he drinks it up. Now the goddess is most upset. She says, "I asked you to pick up one. Why did you pick up all three?" To which he says, "My dear goddess, I asked you to be happy. What is happiness if I only have health and don't have any wealth? What is happiness if I only have wealth and don't have health or wisdom? And what happiness will I get if I only have wisdom and no health or money to enjoy? That is why I've drunk all three. I wanted happiness, and this is the only way I can get it." With this, the goddess was so impressed with his answer that she forgave him and she allowed him to have all three: wisdom, health, and wealth. That's the story of the young man who got all three. The reason I am telling you this story is because STEM education, that's right, it is actually from inspired by a Tenali Rama story. So somebody who said that, I think it's Anjali Sharma. That's right, that's very right. So yes, very similar to the Tenali Rama story. But the reason I'm telling you this story is not because I wanted to tell you a Tenali Rama story, but because STEAM education is bringing the best of everything together. What happiness will be there in a class if it had only art in it? What happiness will there be in a class if there is only math in it, pure math in it? What happiness will be there in a class if there is only science in it? But if you can bring everything integrated together, if you can bring it all into one table and you can mix it all in one bowl, then you're likely to have a very, very happy classroom. And that is really the concept of STEAM, if very simply put. So let me go to the next slide. I'll take you to the first slide for today. Right? So let me first talk to you about 3 oh my God statements that I read. So if you notice, these oh my God statements are like this. You see, whether it is a country that has to grow, or an organization that has to grow, or an industry such as the pharma industry or the manufacturing industry or the telecom industry or the technology industry, if it has to grow, every single industry, nation, or organization, if it has to grow, it needs people with a scientific bent of mind. It needs people who understand the science of things, the math of things. So scientific, when I say I don't mean science specifically, I mean the science, maths, engineering. I mean the whole lot. So for any organization to grow, any industry to grow, you need critical thinkers. Now, the second oh my God thing that I came to know is in 2018 alone, in the country of United States alone, there was a demand of 86.5 lakh jobs in the science, technology, engineering, and math domain. Those many jobs were there, and believe it or not all jobs got filled up. Why did they not get filled up? Because of the third reason. There are not enough skilled people who are from the field of science, engineering, technology, or math. Because they are not skilled enough, because they have not been inspired and are not passionate enough, these jobs went unfulfilled. Now, these 3 oh my God statements is something that should wake all the educators up here. There are about 600 of us here, and all 600 of us should know that this is the reason why we need the whole STEAM education. We need it because the world needs it. Without a scientific bent of mind, without critical thinking, and without creativity, we can't do too much in this world. And that is why we need to nurture, promote STEAM education. But we all are anyway studying science, technology, engineering, and math. But what is the STEAM education about? What is steaming up your classroom about? It is really about this. What is this? This is the definition of STEAM. It is an integrated approach. So what is an integrated approach? Is bringing all of it together. Bringing science mixed with math, mixed with engineering, mixed with art. If you can bring all of that together, then what happens is that there is a lot of inclusion. That means the whole class, irrespective of whether they have a mathematical bent of mind or they have a science bent of mind or they have an artistic bent of mind, they are all included in the classroom because it's all integrated. Otherwise, the risk that we face is a child who has an artistic bent of mind almost always completely switches off, is not listening in the mathematics period. Why? Because they have an artistic bent of mind. A child who has got an analytical bent of mind is very often not paying attention, not interested in what is happening in the language class or what is happening in the arts class, because they have a very mathematical or scientific bent of mind, analytical bent of mind. How can we bring all of this together so that the whole class becomes a listening class? That is really what STEAM education is. What are the benefits? I'm going to just talk to you about a benefit, at which I'm going to do a demo for all of you. Okay, so I'm not seeing the messages now. Are there messages that I should read? Slide is not visible. Can everybody see the slides? Suruchi, can everybody? Yes. Okay. I think everybody can. Okay. Cool. Oh, okay. Sure. I'll do that. Sorry, I missed that message. Thank you. I will go slowly. So now I wanted to talk to you about what is the benefit of integration of science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. That is what STEAM stands for. What is it? What is the benefit of integrating everything together? Right? So one of the most important integration is that it prepares children for the real world. Now, what do I mean by that? For example, we're talking about rain. Right? So when we're talking about the rain, can you tell me how many different subjects are needed to be known for us to talk about the rain? One, we need to understand the concept of evaporation of water. We need to understand the water cycle. We need to understand why we need rainwater. We need to understand the difference between rainwater and seawater. So we need science. We also talk about which are the areas which have the maximum rainfall. How do you measure rainfall? How is it that this place, a particular place, say like Cherrapunji, which has got the highest rainfall, or Magumbe, which became the highest rainfall in the world, how is it that it has more rainfall? How do you measure rainfall? Now, without knowing the math of rain, you're not going to understand the topic of rain. Without understanding, for example, how do we harvest rainfall? Rainwater harvesting is a very big subject in engineering. That is how we can conserve water. So there's engineering in it. Now, there are enough and more number of people who have designed equipment, and you can only design equipment if you understand art. You can't design without the power of arts. So, as I told you, and we need, without programming, you cannot possibly track results. Say, for example, we want to see the rainfall trend in a place for 100 years. Now, without the use of technology, without the use of computers, without the use of data analysis, do you think it is possible for us to understand rain? So, this is what I mean to say, that integrating science, technology, engineering, and arts and mathematics helps us make the child ready for real world. Because when a child passes out of school, rain is not only rainwater cycle. It is not only a science subject. Finally, rain is rain. You have to use all your faculties to understand rain. That is why, similarly, for every concept, for the concept of air, for the concept of a car, a, imagine a car. Do you think you don't need science for it? What is the fuel that goes inside a car? What kind of metallic paints you need to use for a car? Do you need engineering for a car? Yes, of course. Do you need artistry? You need to design a car? Yes, you need artistry. Do you need technology? Today, everything about car designs happens with technology. Do you need mathematics? Oh, yes. Or you'll never know what the mileage of a car is, or what the economy of a car is, or what is the maximum speed a car can go up to, and so on and so forth. So everything in real world requires a combination of all subjects, and that is why you need to integrate all subjects in your classroom. Everybody, can you hear me now? I see voice is breaking. Am I still breaking? Okay, it is good now. Okay. All right. So I hope I have made myself clear now. The first important benefit of STEAM integration is it prepares for the real world. Second is that it helps create an inclusive environment for all kinds of children in the class. Like I said, children who like math are not at all listening in the SUPW class or the arts class. Children who like arts are not listening in the science class. So if you have individual classes, what happens is only some children who are interested in that subject are actually listening. So by having an integrated approach, the whole class is listening. And what better joy will a teacher get when she has the whole class listening to her. That's the reason. The third important reason is because STEAM is an integration of analytical subjects and creative subjects, it fosters both critical thinking as well as creativity. Two of the most important skills of the 21st century are creativity and critical thinking. Today, every job with no exception requires critical thinking, requires creativity. In fact, the way India has and is managing the COVID situation has had a think tank of people who have been exceptionally critical thinkers and exceptionally creative in their approach. That is how important we need. Any situation, we need creativity and we need critical thinkers. STEAM is an approach which helps foster creativity and critical thinking. The fourth and the fifth are very important, and it is important to teachers like me and you. It is that STEAM allows teachers the power to invent themselves. You don't have to pick up a single lesson plan and go with that same lesson plan. You don't have to say, I am a math teacher and I will teach math. You can definitely upgrade and become not just a math teacher, but a STEAM teacher. Of course, your core subject could be math, but that doesn't mean you don't bring the science in your math. That does not mean you cannot bring the art into your math. So this STEAM approach gives you an opportunity to empower yourself and really reinvent yourself as a teacher. Teaching job needs to constantly evolve, or we will get bored with what we are teaching year after year. So how can we stay but how can we stay motivated? One way is to be creative ourselves. STEAM gives you an opportunity. A STEAM-based planning, lesson planning, and STEAM-based teaching gives you an approach to be inventive. Okay. And the last one, of course, is STEAM is extremely child-centric. It uses the child as the focal point and not some specific curriculum or some adult related approach for learning. It keeps the child in the center of the learning process, which is finally what makes it a very happy learning experience. Okay, so that is really how I wanted to give you an introduction to this whole STEAM as a concept. Now, if you're ready, I'm going to take you to a demo. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, I'm assuming that you're either primary school teachers or preschool teachers. Give me a thumbs up if I'm making the right assumption. Okay, absolutely true. Yes, okay, everybody is good. That's great. So because all of you are either primary or preschool teachers, I want you to become a child. I want you to become a student in your child. I'm going to pretend to be your demo teacher for today. I'm going to take you through and you will be a child. So I would like you to look at this whole demo through the eyes of a child, through the mind of a child, and importantly, through the heart of a child. I want you to see how this lesson plan is. So this is a very simple lesson plan, which I have put together, which is an integrated approach to STEAM. It is an example for you. If you are inspired by it, if you like what you see, you can continue to develop your own concepts similar to this. This is only an example and a starting point. So let's begin. Let me take you to first. And before I start, what I'm most excited about is let me take you through a riddle. Who am I riddle? I want you to answer on the chat window. The riddle is this. I am the biggest cat. My stripes are my camouflage. I come in 5 types, 5 species, and I am endangered. Who am I? It's an animal, of course. I want you to guess in the chat window, who am I? I am the biggest cat. My stripes are my camouflage. I come in 5 types, and I'm endangered. Can I see the chat? Are there any chat messages?
Light tiger. Few of them are saying lion.
I can't see the answers. Are you answering it? Suruchi, can you see the answers? Can you guess which animal this is? Suruchi? I'm not able to see.
Most of them have replied with tiger.
Oh, okay. I'm not able to hear you. Are you talking to me on the thing?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not able to hear you. In fact, I'm not able to. All right, so I guess most of you have answered tiger. I'm not able to see your chat messages for some reason. So, very good. That is right. You are right. The animal that I was looking for is the tiger. But you know that it has stripes. But do you know? I'm going to take you to a story. I'm going to take you. I'm going to take you to a story about how the tiger got his stripes. You see, tigers did not always get stripes, did not always have stripes. So I'm going to take you to a story about how the tiger got his stripes. So join me in listening to a Vietnamese story about how the tiger got his stripes. I hope you all are able to listen to me. Suruchi, is everybody able
Yes.
to hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. All right. So, like every good story, I'm going to start my story with a little song. My fur has a pattern, it fits me just right. With the pattern mixes in with the shadows and the light. When I am ready for my hunt, I am hidden from your sight. One more time. My fur has pattern, it fits me just right. The pattern mixes in with the shadows and the light. When I am ready for my hunt, I am hidden from your sight. But a long, long time ago, when the world was full of wonders, the tiger used to live in the jungle as the king of the jungle, but the tiger had pure orange on its body, just pure orange. Now, the tiger was very, very proud. All tigers were just orange, but this tiger was very, very proud to be the king of the jungle because he had the biggest claws and he had the most dangerous and strongest paws and he had the longest tail and he had the strongest shoulders and he was a very proud tiger. One day he decided that he should show the entire jungle how strong he was. And so this tiger, who was pure orange from his head to his tail, started to walk across the jungle. And as he walked across the jungle, he sang a song. Everywhere I go, the world wants to know who the king is. And I tell them, I am the mightiest, I am the strongest, I am the tiger. He sang this and he started to walk. Soon he saw a small deer. And he looked and he said, "Ha! I am going to eat you up." And the deer says, but your majesty, please don't kill me. He says, "Why?" He says, "Because you're the king of the jungle. You should not just kill." He says, "I am the king and I will just kill because I am the mightiest." And he takes his big paw and he puts it right on top of the head of the deer, and instantly it falls dead. And then he walks on and he sings again, "Everywhere I go, the world wants to know who the king is, who the mightiest. And I tell them, I am the mightiest, I am the king, I am the tiger." And he starts to walk. Soon he sees a baby giraffe and he looks, "I am going to eat you up." The baby giraffe says, "Your majesty, can you please not eat me?" He says, "Why?" He says, "You're the strongest. Please forgive me and don't eat me." He says, "I am the strongest and I will kill you." "How?" And he takes his paw and he puts it right on top of the head of the baby giraffe, and down it falls and dies instantly. "Yes, I'm the strongest," said the tiger, and he started to walk again. Again he sang his song. "Everywhere I go, the world wants to know who the king is, and I tell them, I am the mightiest, I am the strongest, I am the tiger." And this time there is a little monkey sitting on top of the tree, and the monkey is looking at the tiger. And the tiger gets terribly upset. He says, "Who is that?" "It's me, monkey. You're saying such a funny thing. You're the strongest, you're the mightiest." Now the tiger's most angry because he's so proud of himself, and the monkey is laughing at him. He says, "You silly monkey, you good for nothing monkey. How dare you laugh at me? How dare you talk like that? I'm the strongest. I'm the mightiest." And the monkey says, "No, no, na 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 na." He says, "What? What do you mean?" He says, "You're not. I'm sorry. You're not. I know you're not." He says, "How do you know?" He says, "Look, there is a village right there. In the village, there is a huge buffalo, bigger than you. That buffalo, which is bigger than you, is sitting at the feet of a man. Imagine how mighty and how strong the man is. That is why I'm saying, don't ever sing the song again." And the tiger gets so angry with him. He says, "Just you wait. I will come and I will snap your neck." And he goes. He goes to the edge of the village. And there he sees a great big buffalo. It's sitting down and it's chewing some grass. Nyang, 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 nyang. And where it's chewing the grass, there is a small rope that it's tied to. And that rope is there where the one tiny little thin man is sitting. Such a big buffalo, such a puny, what is this man on two legs? I have never seen this. How can he be the mightiest? So now the tiger has never seen a man before. So he's wondering who it is that's the mightiest. So he waits for the man to leave after some time. And then he goes to the buffalo. He goes, "Arr!" And the buffalo says, "Moo, what do you want?" He says, "I saw you sitting like a pet at the feet of that man. How come you're sitting at his feet? You're so much bigger than him." He says, "Oh, you don't know. He's the strongest." He says, "How?" He says, "He has something called intelligence." He says, "Intelligence? What is that?" He says, "I don't know what it is. But because he has intelligence, he is the strongest, he is the mightiest. Moo! And the tiger says, I have to have that intelligence. And so he waits for the man to come back. And as soon as the man comes, he goes bouncing and he says, "Arr!" And the man looks at him and the man is shocked. He says, oh, says, I'm not going to eat you. Don't worry. But tell me, are you in possession of something called intelligence? Now the man is a little shocked. He says, what do you mean? He says, you have intelligence with you, right? He says, yes. He says, I want intelligence. Give it to me now. So now man realizes that this tiger has no intelligence at all. So he realizes what is going on. He says, oh, I see, you want intelligence. Ah, okay, sure. But I'm so sorry. I don't have my intelligence here. I have left it in my house. I have to go and get it. Will you wait? He says, I'll wait because I want to be the strongest. Go quickly. So uh, the man says, but before I go, I must tell you, I don't trust you. I have my buffalo here, and my buffalo needs to help me all my life. I cannot trust you with my buffalo. You have to agree for me to tie you up. So the tiger says, tie me up? He says, yes. You have to tie yourself. I'll tie you to the tree, and you have to be there until I come back. Then I'll give you my intelligence and you can go. Then the tiger says, okay, do it fast, but come back fast. So the man takes a big, nice, thick rope and he ties him all the way from his head to his tail. He ties him against a tree. He takes the rope round and 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 round, all the way till he reaches the tail. And he puts him against a tree and he says, just wait. I'm just going home. I'll come back with your intelligence. And he turns and he walks. And the tiger is really uncomfortable. And he's waiting. When am I going to get my intelligence? After some time, the man comes back, not alone, with his two sons. And in his hand, he's carrying some hay, dry grass, hay. And he comes. Suruchi, can you all hear me? Suruchi? Uh, can everyone hear me? great. So I'm sorry, I don't know where I stopped. Did I stop where the man was coming back? Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think the man came back with his two sons. Now he came back with dry grass, and the tiger is wondering, what is this man doing? That doesn't look like intelligence. But anyway, the man came and he put all the hay around the tree. And then he took a light and he lit fire to the hay. And as soon as he lit fire to the hay, it caught flames, and there was great flames that was all around the tree, and the rope started to burn. The rope started to burn, and as they burnt, the ropes gave way, and they tore out of the tiger. And before that, the tiger started to run, and as he was running away, man screamed at him, "This is intelligence. The day you get this intelligence, come back here. For until then, man is the mightiest and man is the strongest." The tiger, he ran so far and so fast that day that all he remembers of what happened that day are the scars that the ropes left on his body. Wherever the ropes were burnt, it left a black scar on his otherwise beautiful orange body. And that's how today you have a tiger that has black burnt stripes. So that's a story about how the tiger got his stripes and how man from that day ever since till today remains the mightiest and the strongest animal on earth, simply because he or she has the intelligence. And that's the story. Thank you. Some people are saying that it's an awesome story. It is an awesome story. And if you tell it to your children, they will love listening to this story. So let me take you now. I narrated this story, but I narrated the story because I wanted to start this demo session with a story that is about the tiger, about wildcats and animals in general. I wanted to bring to you this story because animals is a subject that is a lesson that all children will have all through primary school. So I wanted to see how can we integrate science, maths, engineering, and arts into this concept of wildcats. Okay, all right. So let me take you to the next screen. Thank you for all your feedback. So I wanted to now play a video for you. Okay, so before we move into the lesson, I want to tell you, I told you a very silly story about how the tiger got its stripes. But do you want to know really what the stripes are for a tiger? So if you really want to know what a tiger, how a tiger has its stripes, I'm going to play you a National Geographic video about a tiger for 2.5 minutes. I would like you to please look at it, and then we will start discussing about wildcats. Okay, so give me a moment. I'm going to try and switch this on for you. Okay, so I'm going to play this video for you now. And as I play this video, now try and understand the real science behind what a tiger is, the science of a tiger and its stripes. Okay, so please listen to this carefully.
With their signature orange fur and black stripes, tigers have become icons of beauty, power, and the importance of conservation. Tigers have evolved into six subspecies. The tiger's tale of evolution can be traced back to about 2 million years ago, when the earliest known tiger ancestor left Africa and ventured into Asia. Over time, the big cat split into 9 subspecies, with 6 still alive today. The most numerous subspecies is the Bengal tiger, accounting for approximately 50% of the tiger population worldwide. Tigers are the world's largest cats. On average, the big cats weigh about 450 pounds, but the largest is the Siberian tiger subspecies, measuring up to 13 feet long and weighing up to 660 pounds. This extra weight is primarily because of large, powerful muscles. Unlike lions, the second largest of the big cats, tigers have more muscle mass and are therefore heavier. Tigers have webbed toes. Often living near bodies of water, tigers have adapted for a semi-aquatic lifestyle. They appear to enjoy being in the water, unlike most cats, and are excellent swimmers, using their powerful muscles to propel their bodies in the water. They've also evolved to have webbing between their toes. The webbing allows the big cats to push around a greater volume of water with each stroke of their paws. White tigers are a type of Bengal tiger. The classic black and orange coloration of most tigers is caused by the pigments eumelanin, which turns fur black, and pheomelanin, which turns fur orange. The production of pheomelanin is triggered by the gene SLC45A2. White tigers carry a mutated version of this gene, which prevents them from producing orange pigmentation. Fewer than 4,000 tigers remain in the wild. At the turn of the 20th century, approximately 100,000 tigers roamed the wild, living as far west as Turkey and as far north as Russia. But due to deforestation, human development, and poaching, their range severely decreased, and within 100 years, the world's tiger population declined by about 96%. Over the past few decades, programs have been put in place to protect tigers and their habitats. With the help of the global community, tiger populations may slowly rebound.
Can you hear me, please? Can you confirm if you can hear me? Okay, great. All right. So I hope most of you have seen the video. I think some of you had a problem. I will be happy to share this link for you. So you will be able to see it at your convenience. This video talks about the 6 species of tigers which are still alive today, out of the 9 which were there originally, and how these tigers, pheomelanin is actually the color of the stripes. It is a pigmentation because of which a stripe happens for a tiger. Can any of you tell me, how is a tiger's pattern? How does it help a tiger? Why does a tiger have stripes? Can you just answer, maybe 1 or 2 of you, can you answer on the chat window? Why does a tiger have stripes? Yes, camouflage, that is absolutely right. But what does it camouflage? Why does it need that camouflage? Where is the habitat of a tiger? To hide between tall grass. That's right. Tall grass, especially the dry grass that is there in marshy lands, it's always greenish yellow. And that is why in that greenish yellow, it's all tall grass, straight, and it absolutely camouflages. And when a tiger moves, you will not even have an idea where the tiger is moving until it comes so close that you can't avoid it. And very often, tigers get their prey because they move so silently and they're camouflaged so beautifully in their vertical stripes. Their stripes are also vertical, just like the grass is. So that is the reason. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next. Now we have some interesting questions for primary school children and preschool children, depending on who you are. Grasslands, that's right. Grasslands is the environment. That's the habitat of tigers. So I'm going to talk to you about a little bit of, integration. So I wanted to ask you, if you had the power to make this camouflage even more effective, how do you think you can draw a camouflage for this tiger if you were a creator and if you had the power to be more creative than the God the creator was? How will you enhance this camouflage? Can you? Barcode, is it? Spotted. Okay, so there are spotted wildcats. Can you name some spotted wildcats? Stripes should be broader. That's a great idea, because If the stripes are broader, even if it's walking in a clump of grass, it's still invisible, right? Leopard has got spots. So somebody said broader stripes. Do you think having a little bit of green in the body would have helped the tiger? Curvy, zigzag stripes, brighter. Okay, green, yes. So these are, so if we had the time, I would have asked you all to actually draw and color the camouflage the way you liked it. What I would like is, if you're taking this session to your classroom, if you can ask them to use their artistry designing skills to design a camouflage which is even more effective, which makes their hunting adventures 100% successful. Actually, the statistics are that a tiger is not successful for more than 30 to 40% of the times. If you want to make the hunting statistics successful 100% of the time, what do you think the camouflage could be, right? So you might want to, okay, so orange color can be merged with yellow. These are great answers. So military design, okay, yeah, that's not a bad idea at all, right? How our army camouflage is. Okay, so Deepthi said, thank you. Deepa said that zigzag like a giraffe. Okay. So what other wildcat patterns? I think some of you have already said leopard. What other wildcat patterns do you know? Can you quickly list out the wildcats that you know which all have different patterns? Jaguar has a rosette pattern. Leopards has a rosette pattern. Cheetahs, zebras have, okay, zebra is not a wildcat, but zebra also has a pattern. Jaguars, pumas, panthers. Excellent. That's absolutely right. Most of you are teachers, so you have great answers with you. When you take it to your children, you will have a very nice, enlightening conversation, because not all of them will know it. So ask them, which habitat do you think a spotted animal, what habitat are they in? Tigers are always in tall grass. The habitats are grasslands, and that is why they have stripes. Whereas a leopard sits on top of trees, and that is why, like leaves, they have a pattern that is spotted, and so on and so forth. So, so you can talk to them about what are the patterns of the wildcats and why do they have these patterns. Let me take you to the next slide. All right, so this is an interesting way to take mathematics to your classroom through the concept of tigers. So what is the math of tigers? Do you know that the weight of a tiger is 204 kgs? If you tell a child that the weight of a tiger is 204 kgs, they say, oh, okay, because it's an abstract number. But if you tell them that it is equal to 8 of you standing on one side and one tiger standing on the other side, that is how much the weight of a tiger is. And suddenly, you know, the children are able to understand 8 of me have to stand in order to be the weight of one tiger. So doing a comparison like this, one gives them a clear idea of what really it means to be a tiger, how heavy a tiger is, but also it gives those children who have a mathematical bent of mind to understand the concepts of tigers better, because they are interested in math, and anything to do with math excites them. So if you can integrate these math concepts in the learning of tigers, you are also inviting that child to enjoy the class, right? So yeah, somebody says good integration. That's right. So can you answer these questions, please? How many children will be needed to equal the weight of 4 tigers? 32, of course. Thank you very much. You guys are, who said 51? 32, Karuna, Hema, Rita, everyone is right. Of course, you guys are intelligent teachers. So thank you very much. Let's answer the second question. These are all just simple, simple ways to introduce to you how you can bring in the math to your classroom. Okay, I'm sure all of you are very good in this. It's a very simple thing, but I just wanted to introduce you and make you become a child for a few minutes. So let's go to the second question. If a cat, now, do you know that our domestic cat, which walks in and out of our houses, it is also part of the cat family, the tiger family? You all know that, right? Okay, all of you have answered even before I asked the question. So the answer to the second one is 51 cats. So here is the thing. All of you who answer it, obviously you're adults. You have a good sense of your math as well. But imagine in your class, if you're able to ask a question like this, then even children who love math will answer this question. But people who may not love the math may not be part of this question, but they may be part of the previous question. What is the art? You know, they are interested in art, so they would have given you contribution towards that question. So no matter what kind of bent of mind they have, they are all engaged in the class, because one question or the other they will probably be able to enjoy and add value to, add contribution to. Okay, so all of you have given great answers. Yes, that's a great integration of science and math. You guys are absolutely right. Okay, so now let's move on to the next. It's a very simple, again, a very simple. So now, the claws of a tiger. The claws of a tiger are the most important weapon for its hunt. Because if there were no claws, even though it pounces, it will not be able to tear the flesh, and therefore the teeth and the claws are the two most important tools it has to tear and bite its food. So let's talk about the claws. Now, telling that tiger has sharp claws, okay, it has sharp claws, it has big claws, oh, okay. But if you say, look at this key that I have, something like this. Now, this is a key I have. Now, this is the size of a tiger's claw, and immediately a child has a sense of reality, because the child cannot touch the claw of a tiger, but it can certainly look at a key and it will know that this is the size, right? So the moment you have that, a child has a very clear real world understanding of what is going on, right? So yes, you can of course integrate tiger with literature. We'll talk about that later on as part of the questioning. Tiger, tiger, burning bright. Okay, yes, that's William Wordsworth's poem. You can also use that in the class. Those children who have an artistic bent will obviously like a musical rhythm. A poem is musical, and therefore you can definitely use a tiger, tiger, burning bright poem also in the class, right? So do you know okay, so the answer to this question, of course, everybody is saying it is the cheetah, which does not have fully retractable claws, right? All other cats, including your domestic cat, has got fully retractable claws. Right? Now, can you tell me, why is it that a cheetah may not have fully retractable claws? Do you know the answer? Do you know why? Yes, cheetah is the right answer. But why do you think cheetah does not have fully retractable claws? Okay, to climb trees. Yes, I think it is to climb trees. But more importantly, from what I understand, it is because cheetah has got very less time to react to its hunting expeditions. They are so agile, they are so quick that they really cannot again open up their entire claws and then start. So that's why they have got partially retractable claws, because they are very agile and they have not enough time to respond to situations. It runs too fast, it has to react quickly, and that is why you need to have partially retractable claws. So now this is, you're taking the lesson beyond just tigers to other wildcats as well. You're engaging the whole class in critical thinking. You're asking them, you don't have to have a right answer. Like, for example, some of you said to climb trees. You are probably right. I'm sure one of the reasons could be that because it's climbing trees. But what is happening is that the important thing is, by asking this question, you are making the whole class, like all of you are responding, you're going to make the whole class participate in your lesson. They're all going to give you their thoughts. So that way it becomes a very inclusive classroom, right? So somebody says origami. That's great, because that is part of the art integration. Okay. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay. So here is, how can you bring math into maybe a 4th standard or a 5th standard class? Sorry, 2nd standard onwards. First one is just ascending order, right? So ascending order you'll probably have in the 1st standard and 2nd standard. So can you put this? These are the top speeds, approximate top speeds. So everyone knows that the okay. So Suruchi, somebody has to let people in. Looks like. Can you just check that up, please? People are saying that they need to be let in, Suruchi. Can you just check that? Yes, 45, 65, 80, and 100. If you can give the names, it will be nice. Man is, of course, the slowest. And then it is a tiger. And then it is a lion. And the fastest, of course, is a cheetah. Now, can you give me, for a 4th standard or a 5th standard student, depending on which curriculum you use, can you give me the average speed of all these 4 put together? without using your calculators. Let's see you do it by hand. Yeah, 82.5. Okay, is it right? I don't know. I didn't do the calculation. So you'll have to add the 4 and divide by 4. Got multiple answers. Okay, the answer is 72.5. And anybody who's got lesser than that, you've not done your averaging correctly. So average is when you add up all the speeds and when you divide by 4. Okay, that's the average speed of the animals that we have listed here. So average is add up everything and divide by the total numbers. So it's 72.5. That's right. Many of you have got the right answer. So now why are you doing this? You're doing this because one, you're giving them a sense of what are the speeds that tiger is your focal point, so you're giving the speed of a tiger, but you're also giving the speed of a tiger with reference to a cheetah, with reference to a man. So you can also say, if for example somebody needs to if you need to travel for 120 kilometers, maybe a 6th standard student, you need to travel 120 kilometers. How long will a tiger take? And how 130 kilometers, how long will a tiger take if it is 130 kilometers you have to travel? Or compare it with a car, compare it with a human being. If a tiger takes 2 hours to reach 130 kilometers, how much will man take if his average speed is 45? Right? So now that's a question for a 6th standard. You're still staying in the science, in the tiger concept. You're still with wildcats as a concept. But the moment you do all of this, you are elevating the energy in the class, you're elevating the inclusion in the class, and you're making it a real world concept. Because if they ever become an environmentalist and they go into the jungle, if they don't know their math, they can't possibly research on tigers. So what I'm trying to say is you need integration in order to make sense in the real world, right? So that is the whole reason why you need to include, you can include activities like this. Okay. I'm going to go to the next page. All right, so this is really, I was truly excited by this particular concept. I wanted to talk to you about what is engineering, how it is important for all of us teachers not to stick to what the textbook has. All of us should become researchers. All of us should become scientists. Only then will we be able to elevate and enrich the class. I'm going to introduce to you the concept of biomimicry. Does anybody here know what biomimicry means? Don't look at Google. Don't look at Google. Just tell me if you know what biomimicry means. No, right? So some of you said no. Maybe some of you do know. But biomimicry is the science of looking at nature and making it a real world engineering solution. For example, they have looked at spider webs. They have looked at spider webs, how a spider creates its web. And they use that concept to create all kinds of space-related equipment. Because spider webs, depending on the tension of the web, it can become very, very, very strong. Another example is, you know what a Velcro is, right? Prrr, it opens, prrr, Velcro. Velcro, yeah, you understand, right? So Velcro comes from a plant which has got nettles. Nettles is something which sticks onto your clothes. If you've ever gone trekking or hiking, on your dress, there'll be a lot of nettles that get stuck. So those nettles actually made a scientist wonder, what is it about this particular nettle that makes it stick? And he got the nettle under a microscope and he checks it, and he took 3 years. But today, Velcro has been invented by this scientist who discovered from nettles how to make 2 things stick. He realized that our fabric has a particular hash pattern, and a nettle has a pattern which embeds itself inside. That is why a Velcro needs 2 parts, a male and a female part. And that is how a Velcro was invented. All these inventions are part of the biomimicry process. I wanted you to see a video So like this, there are so many. By the way, lily pad, you know what lily pads are? Lotus leaves. You know how water never sticks on lotus leaves, right? It is waterproof. And because it is waterproof, they saw what is the surface of this lotus leaf. Why is it so waterproof? And today they have created shoes which are actually waterproof, which have got their inspiration from the structure of a lotus leaf. You take the shoe and you go in the rain, the shoe will absolutely be clean. Wax coating, yes, wax coating also. That's right. That they use the concept of that on surfaces, and on the surface of a shoe, on the surface of a raincoat. So it never stops. Dresses also. Thank you for all your feedback. Getting inspired by nature, that is biomimicry. You're mimicking the bio world and using it in technological engineering solutions. I'm going to show you a video now, where there is a company called Boston Robotics, which is there in United States, which has been using the cheetah as an inspiration to create a robot. It's a very complex process, but it is biomimicry, because they saw the spine of a cheetah, which is a wildcat. It goes close to 100 kilometers per hour because its spine bend. It's the most flexible spine. So when a cheetah runs, its spine goes like this. It goes in and out, in and out. That's why a cheetah's front and back feet come just together, and it'll go out again, together and go out again. So its spine is so flexible. That's how it gets its speed. They've been trying to create a robot which can go so fast. Now I'll show you, after all the research that they've done almost for 8 years, this is their result now. They have now made a robot which can go faster than Usain Bolt, who was the 100 meters specialist and who holds a world record for 100 meters dash. I'm going to play you that video if you're ready. Are you ready? Okay, so this video is about 2 minutes long. Okay, I'm going to play this now. Oh, sorry. I forgot to turn my audio on. Sorry. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. So I wanted to tell you, it is not a pretty looking robot, but is it not a brilliant robot? If we introduce to our children, this is what a cheetah has inspired. Is it not something that our children will tomorrow be inspired to become, probably become scientists, probably become robotic engineers? And that is why you need to read. We need to become researchers ourselves, because it took me time to research about wildcats and come up with this as an invention. Now, when we inspire our children saying, this is why you need to know about animals, this is why you need to know the math and the science and the engineering of animals, then you are integrating the whole class and elevating the whole learning experience. Okay, so I'm going to now take you to maybe a last couple of slides. Okay, so these questions you don't have to answer. This is this is for all of you to just ponder on. Okay, so this is to ponder on. Some of these questions are really about exploring the subject and most importantly applying it further. So let me take you to the first question. Okay, what are the common features of all wildcats? So now this is a question of exploration, because if you read, you will know that tiger has so many features. You will read that lions have so many features. You will read that cheetahs have so many features. Now I'm asking you, what are the common features for everything? What are the individual features of everything else? 4 legs, of course. All of them are carnivores. All of them are nocturnal. All of them have retractable claws. Those are all common features. Now, what are the individual features that separates each one from the other? All of them are wild animals, right? Patterns is what separates them. For example, their eating habits, their habitats are different. Their eating habits are different. Their mating habits are different. So these are some of the differences. Now, the moment you ask a child to go find out what are the common features and what are the unique features, a child begins a journey of exploration. That way, you are not giving the answer to the child. You're giving some information, but asking them to assimilate this, collate this information, make use of information and give it back to me, explore it and give it back to me. Right? So this is what I mean to say for exploration. Exploration is when you take it to the child and make the child the learner, make the child, empower the child to become the teacher, where they will come back and teach you what are the common features and what are the unique features. That is why STEAM integration is a child-centric approach. You allow for exploration by the child. The second question is, why are they called the apex species? Most wildcats are the apex species. So why are they called? They're all predators and they do not have predators for them. Yes, man has a gun, but that at the end of the food chain, that's where they stop, right? Now, but ask your children, what will happen? Because it's an endangered species. Most of the wildcats are endangered. Ask them the question, what will happen one day when all wildcats are killed and gone? We have managed to kill a lot of them. What will happen if they all disappear? And the whole ecosystem will be imbalanced. There are a lot of answers. It'll probably be like a corona situation where we don't know what will happen next. There will be multiple implications of this, because we will be overrun by the lower end of the food chain. Will be overrun by nature, which means plant life. Will be overrun by herbivores. So then what happens? We don't know what will happen. And that is the beauty of it. To engage your class in a question which does not have a fixed answer, that is when exploration happens. That's when application happens. Application of my knowledge. And the last question is, because they're endangered and because there are things that we have thought about, if they all die, what might happen? What can we do to preserve them? And these answers should be discussed within the students. These answers will help them become environmentally rich, scientifically rich. Their solutions could be taking the census. That means using mathematics, taking the census of wildcat population every 6 months. That's a mathematical solution. Maybe they will say that we need to grow more, preserve more forests. That is an environmental solution. Maybe they will say that let's breed them in specific areas where they're untouched, like maybe the Amazonian jungle. Then we're allowing for science. So how do we calculate their breeding patterns, for example? That could be a mathematical solution, and so on and so forth, right? And then let us have environmental policies, for example. So these are the kind of conversations we need to have in the class, where everyone feels a sense of commitment, a sense of enrichment, and a sense of critical thinking and creativity coming into the class. All this is possible when you can integrate concepts with all subjects. So don't go subject wise, go concept wise. Air is a concept. Water is a concept. Animals is a concept. Domestic animals is a concept. Water is a concept. Rain is a concept. Earth is a concept. Space is a concept. So the concept of space can have mathematics in it, can have science in it, can have engineering in it. So that is what I mean when I say take a concept and work on science, technology, engineering, arts, and math as a integrated approach to that concept. Are you with me? Can you just say yes? Are you with me? Okay, cool. Okay, so now I want to know, now we are moving into, so this was the demo, and I hope you enjoyed this whole demo, right? So I'm going to now take you into the why. I have little time, I don't have too much time. So I'm going to take only 2 slides to explain to you how can we integrate STEAM into the classroom. How can you STEAM up your class? Okay, and this is how you STEAM up your class. There are 4 stages. For the moment you choose a concept like rain or like water or like air or like wildcats, like I chose, the moment you choose a concept, you have to go through 4 stages. Stage number 1 is you understand what are your intentions. My intentions for Wildcats was to expose to you what are the various habitats that wildcats occupy. I wanted to specifically talk about camouflaging and their hunting. I wanted to talk to you about mathematics of tigers, which was statistics about how fast they run, how heavy they are, how big they are, how sharp their claws are, so on. I wanted, what are my intentions? These are my intentions. Your intentions should have science, technology, engineering, art, and math. If you have all 5 in your intentions, your stage 1 is complete. Now, the second one is, once you have your intentions in place, design what are the knowledge aspects you're going to bring to the class. My knowledge aspects was, I brought to you a story, but after the story, I showed you really what it means about patterns. How does a tiger really, what does it mean to have a real pattern? It's actually a pigmentation. So my knowledge assets were, I had videos, I used technology to show you videos, I gave you a story, I gave you some comparisons, such as the weight of 1 tiger equal to the weight of 8 children, for example, some comparisons and statistics. I gave you some tables with speeds, so on. This is all my knowledge assets. So what are your knowledge assets which will help you meet your intention? So that is your next stage. What are all the assets? It could be a lesson. It could be a lesson from your textbook. It can also be a story. It can also be Tiger, Tiger Burning Bright, which is a poem. It can also be an art activity, such as somebody said origami. So it can be that. So all of these are your knowledge assets. That is stage 2. Stage number 3 is allow for questioning to happen. Every time you produce an asset and knowledge asset to them, such as a story or such as a statistic, you ask them questions, like how I asked you questions. What is the average of speeds, which is the arrange them in ascending order? What will happen if you have the ability to change the camouflage? What will you change it to? I asked you all these questions as part of my knowledge assets. So intention, so let me just talk about intention one more time. Intention is, what is your scope? What is the scope of the concept that you want to give to the children? Your intention will depend on which class you are addressing. If you're going to preschool, your intention will be less because their ability to understand is limited. If you're going to primary school with Wildcats, then your intention can be slightly more. You have got more number of intentions, objectives, correct. What are the aims and objectives that you have? That is part of your intention. I intend my children to know XYZ things. But your intentions should not be limited to only science or only maths or only technology. Your intentions should have everything. Like my intention was to make you understand mathematically about tigers, like the speeds, like the size of tigers, but also it had intentions of even science included. It had intentions of technology because I showed you about videos about real tigers. It also had engineering intention because I showed you about biomimicry. Did you understand that? Something like learning outcomes, but your learning outcome should be a combination of S, T, E, A, and M. Okay, it should include, your intention should have all 5. Okay. Knowledge is for all your intentions, what are the actual assets you're using? Are you using some lessons, textbook lessons? Are you using some stories? Are you using poems? Are you using some maybe some videos? You could be also using some instructions, for worksheets for them, basically, right? So these are all the these are all the knowledge assets. STEAM, so your question, STEAM works only with concepts? No, we will talk about how you can use STEAM in your classroom also, okay? But yes, STEAM works the best when you start thinking conceptually. And it is unfortunate that our textbooks have separated out subjects and are not thinking conceptually, right? So, all right. So I'm going to go next from knowledge assets to exploration. How can you create exploration? You can create exploration by asking them and engaging in conversation and questioning. Critical questioning is most important in the exploration process for the child. Giving them assignments, giving them, empowering them to talk freely and make mistakes. And group work, for example, including them into subgroups, making each of them subgroup work collaboratively is how exploration can be maximized. So exploration happens when you ask questions, like how I asked you so many questions. How can we save wildcats? What do you think will happen when all wildcats disappear one day from planet Earth? Or what is the average speed? I asked you so many questions. So questions helps the child in exploration. Yes, it's the metacognition. Yes, metacognition is when you question about what you're saying. So exploration is critical questioning and critical inquiry about what you are teaching. That has to be a continuous process. It is not you finish one whole thing and give them one worksheet and say, this is how you're going to finally tell me. This is how you're going to explore. No, exploration is an iterative process. Suruchi, can you allow for teachers to join? Looks like they're not able to join. It's locked, it says. Okay, for all those who are listening, I'm going to go to the 4th stage. Exploration is about inquiry and questioning. The last stage is, with all this knowledge, how can you apply it to the real world? One way to apply it is, say, for example, this Wildcats was a concept. If you can ask your children to create a campaign, a Save Wildcats campaign, then why should they do a Save Wildcats campaign? Is because they themselves would have discussed about creating some kind of awareness as part of the preservation process. Then moving it to now in your head you have that you should preserve it, but how can we really preserve it? Creating a campaign that will be an applied process, or taking an interview, or going to a zoo. Now you go to a zoo and you learn something about tigers and you come back and give a report, or you do some research work and you write out a small paper on what has been the rise and decline of tigers for the past 20 years. You might want to ask your children to work together as groups, right? I know it does not provide integrated resource material. That is why I said somebody is asking, NCERT doesn't provide integrated resource material. I understand that. That is why I'm saying all of us are teachers here. Can we use our own creativity? Can we empower and can we reinvent ourselves a little further? Because in primary classes, they are not so strict that they don't have time. In high school, I know they keep on saying no time, कुछ और time ही नहीं है, बस इसी time में सब कुछ करना है. लेकिन primary school में फिर भी हम कर सकते हैं. So can we become the innovators? We don't have to wait for NCERT to give us. If you believe that what you listened to just now is good, then why don't we ourselves do it? Why don't we enrich the class? And why don't we make children after 10 years say, I don't remember the name of ma'am, but I remember how she used to ask us questions, how we used to discuss things that really make me remember what she said. They may not remember your name, but they will always remember how you made them feel, feeling excited, feeling energized, feeling motivated. That's what is our job as teachers. So we can also do it in high school. Absolutely, somebody said that. I'm really sure we can. But primary school तो जरूर हम कर सकते हैं. बस मन लगाना है और सब कुछ हम कर सकते हैं. And the last is application. So one more application could be, for example, can we do a group project on why is it that the Indian tiger population has actually been growing, whereas some other parts of the world it has been declining. So what has India done to preserve its tigers? Can we write a little note and can we publish this note somewhere? Maybe school magazine itself, you can publish it. But these are things that will empower the child. That will empower the child to feel that I am committed to this. And importantly, whether a child likes math or science or arts, this kind of engagement with the child will make all children commit themselves. You may have a drawing project, applied project, a drawing project about drawing a pride of lions, for example. You might have a group collage project. So that way, everybody who's interested in art will be part of that particular assignment. So application, many of them go on safaris. Yes, but when you go on safaris, it is not just a picnic. Can you make this an inquiry-based safari? Can you really question them saying, did you notice how this cheetah's eating habits are? Or did you notice? Or this is what we studied. Are we seeing this here? If you're not seeing this here, why are we not seeing this here? Is it because they are not in the wild? Do they behave differently in the wild? Do they behave differently in a safari? And these are the kind of questions that we need to engage with the child. Just taking them on an excursion to the zoo is not the answer, not just the answer. Yes, it is a good thing, but not necessarily the only answer. Right? So am I clear about these 4 stages? तो इसको बोलते हैं IKEA model. IKEA, right? I stands for intention, K stands for your knowledge assets, E stands for exploration, and A finally where an application may not even happen today. If you do I, K, and E, then they could grow up to become applied professionals. They may grow up to become, after their 12th standard, if they're really inspired by a certain concept, they may apply that and take it up as a profession. They might become environmental engineers. They might become a conserver, an animal conserver. So that is what I mean. Application need not happen now. It can happen sometime in future. So we have to sow the seeds. The sowing the seeds happens in the first 3 stages, which you have power in your classroom. Intention, knowledge, exploration. Application happens automatically. Okay. So I'm going to the last slide now, which is, these are some of the questions that I hear a lot. Okay. One question is, when does STEAM occur? When can you integrate STEAM? The answer to that question is, throughout, any teacher can. You're teaching math. When you're teaching math, when a maths teacher says, this boy had 15 apples and 10 apples got lost, how many does he have remaining? You can talk about why is it that 10 apples got lost. Maybe 10 apples get spoiled. Do you know that all fruits get spoiled? If instead of apples, he was carrying balls, cricket balls, anything would have happened to them? No. Why? Because it's fruits which get spoiled, right? So you can include science in math. So what I'm saying is, when should STEAM occur? At any time. You can be a maths teacher or a science teacher or an arts teacher and still integrate all the subjects. What makes a person qualified to teach STEAM? Today in India, we don't have STEAM we don't have a B.Ed course for STEAM education. Each one of us has enough power to become STEAM educators. All we need to do is, we need to be inspired. We need to become researchers ourselves. We need to be motivated to take our class to the next level. That's what we need. We need to be creative. Yes, that's right. We need to be critical thinkers. We need to be creative thinkers. Are there STEAM credentials? Credentials are, are there any courses where STEAM is being offered? India mein to utna nahi hai. But I'll be happy if you all are interested to take a more detailed course into how can you do lesson planning using STEAM, etc., etc. If you have any feedback for further sessions in STEAM, please write to me and I'll be happy to engage with any of you, your schools. We can work that out together with Suruchi's help. Okay. Now the fourth question is, do we just transform? Okay, so this is not applicable. So before A was integrated, before arts was integrated, it was called STEM education. But they realized that STEM education is not including the right-brained people. That means the creative people. So that's why STEAM came into picture. So today we are only talking STEAM education. Okay. And the last is STEAM reserved for the art class? Definitely not. It is, I'll just give you my email ID. It is definitely for all classes. It is especially important for all science, maths, social studies, and literature classes. So I've just sent you my email ID. I hope you can see it. All right. So I'm going to the very last page, which is, if all things work, if you're inspired, then you have the power to steam it up in your class. What you can see there is steam. So you have the steam coming out. So really your class will be so energized. Your class will be truly energized. I'll give you my email ID again. All right. So I'm going to end this with a nice song. If you want a happy class, steam it up. If you want a thinking class, steam it up. If you want a learning class and you want to enrich it, if you want a happy class, steam it up. So make sure to steam up your class. I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you very much for listening to me. I really, really had a wonderful time talking to all of you. Thank you so much,
Aparna. Thank you so much. It was such an insightful and lovely session to be a part of. Thank you, everybody, for joining us in this session. Thank you so much. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you. And all of you, if you have any specific question, maybe you can put it here. But otherwise, I hope that all of you become great STEAM educators. All the best to you. I wish you keep rising and shining and let your children shine in this world. Thank you and bye-bye.